You can also send us a message on WhatsApp. WhatsApp number is 0809 444 0981.
Yes. So we've got a credit alerts coming in to the tune of $4 billion. Nigeria had a successful outing with a Eurobond issuance. We returned to the capital markets. It's been about how many years now? It's off to 6 or between 3 and 6 years now since we've tapped the capital markets for Eurobonds. We raised $4 billion, although I hear it was oversubscribed by 3 times. Okay. About 12 billion. So we got $4 billion coming in across 3 tranches. We have a 7-year tranche. I think 1.25 billion of a 7-year paper, about 6.12%, and we've got a 12-year tranche at 7.3%, and another 1.5 there, and then another 1.25 billion on a 30-year paper. So just 3, it's bonds, IOUs. So 3 different tranches, 4 billion, and this is part of the, external borrowing plan to not only fund the budget deficits of about 5.6 trillion, but also to attend to certain projects. Particularly, we know that, we have a Forex issue, liquidity with our foreign exchange here. There's a backlog, of folks who are trying to get their money out. There's, of course, you've seen what's been happening with the exchange rates. So this money comes at a really, really good time for the country. Now, of course, the main concern here is the increase in debts. And last week, everybody was talking about debt last week. The Center for Social Justice said that Nigeria has spent 11.6 or $11.9 trillion over the last, 11.9 trillion naira. It was $11.9 trillion then something else. 11.9 trillion naira over the last 5 years on debt servicing. Meanwhile, we spent, corresponding to that, we spent about 8.3 trillion on capital expenditure. Then doing salami, the chair of the Presidential Economic Advisory Council, he released a state of the economy report saying that debt servicing between January and May was about, debt service to revenue ratio is about 99%. That means you spent 99 naira out of 100 naira that you made paying interest on your debt. So the debt's going to go up. The debt is going to continue to rise, especially external debt. Also remember, when you're borrowing in foreign currency, there's an exchange rate risk. Now, of course, on Nigeria's books, it's going to be registered at, exchange rate of 413. I think the INA window closed at 413 or 412 yesterday. But we all see what's happening with the exchange rates in the parallel market, right? So exchange rate risk is one thing. There's also interest rate risk, but I mean, the Federal Reserve over in the United States, they should be concluding their own monetary policy committee meeting today. We're not expecting any movements on interest rates on the United States until, who knows, later, end of this year, maybe next year. I mean, the United States is still reviewing its economy. So as long as we don't see any rate increases from the states, again, you saw the interest here between 6 and 8%. So this is single digit rates that we're borrowing at. So there you have it. I mean, support the currency, support the budget, aimed at the deficit, but there's also the matter of rising debt service to revenue ratio, which is the real metric we should look at when you're borrowing, and exchange rate risk, and then to a lesser extent, interest rate risk down the line. So, but all in all, it's I would say that it's a good show for Nigeria's debt profile, that investors still believe that Nigeria can pay her bills when they're due. And if you go out there and you ask for money and people want to give you more than you ask for, that's a good sign. So good for us, essentially.
Good for us indeed. All right, that's good. Good for us indeed. Now, just a few comments here from. I have a comment from Benga Akamo. Are there plans on to pay back these love loans? Will the projects being funded with this money create jobs, economic activity such that we could make these monies back? I don't envy, he said, I don't envy Buhari's successor, Benga Akamo said.
Yeah, so there's also the issue of the fact that, the projects will be paid for, but mostly, again, this is going towards addressing the, what is it now? The budget deficit of 5.6 trillion. There's that. And then there's also, the money is there, so it will be put towards what it's meant for. As far as Nigeria's debt profile is concerned, looking at 2023 and beyond, it's not, whoever is actually coming into the seat of power is in for possibly a rough time, because the debt profile just continues to rise. And then there's also the ways and means, which is a credit facility that the central bank has extended to the federal government. That's apparently to the tune of 15 trillion naira. So, that's for that. It's part of what people have been talking about this period. Center for Social Justice doing salami, everybody last week. There's nothing you can do at this point. You just have to keep on borrowing.
All right, so we just have to keep on borrowing. That's the way out. Now, Rotus, I'd like to ask, in one of the headlines, they talked about the fact that this was strengthening. Let me read the headline actually, and I would like to hear your take on it. If it is, it's indeed as it is said. It says, in show of strength. That's the part I want to emphasize on. In show of strength, Nigeria raises $4 billion through Eurobonds. Is this a show of strength? Is this a positive? Would you consider this a welcome development?
In terms of, maybe that headline might be exaggerating things, because it's only $4 billion, and honestly, that's it's our money. But not that I have $4 billion, but the show of strength is what they're referring to. The debt profile and what investors think about Nigeria's debt profile. So essentially, they're saying that, because it was oversubscribed to the tune of 12 billion. So that means that, we asked for 4 and, investors piled in and said, okay, it was oversubscribed by 3 times. So they were willing to give us 3 times as much as what we asked for. So, as far as Nigeria's profile and how investors view the country, that's positive. But I don't know if it's a show of strength, because it's still more debt that's piling up.
All right, absolutely. Thank you. All right, let me take this from Ogeno Chuko, who says government must review its fiscal policies, for instance, the ease of doing business to assist businesses that are involved in exports. Talking about the ease of doing business, Rotus, I don't know if you talked about this last week, and in terms of the World Bank saying they were not going to release the index, ease of doing business index anymore, as it had come under some controversies. These comments just reminded me of that in terms of ease of doing business. And because I know that one of the points, one of the KPIs of the council, that's Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, is to keep moving up on the ease of doing business index, as prepared by the World Bank.
Yeah, so the issue is the World Bank was offering consultation services to countries on how to improve their ease of doing business. There seems to be a bit of a conflict of interest there, that the same body who is ranking you is also giving you consulting services. So depending on how much you pay and so on and so forth, there might be an issue there. Also, Kristalina Gorgieva, I love her name. She's from Bulgaria. She's the head of the IMF managing director. She got into some ethics issues, in that it's been alleged that she was trying to push the World Bank folks to prop up China which sounds like China was giving her a gunje in order to improve their business environment ranking. So that's like part of the issues that was being faced there. Nigeria does have to improve our ease of doing business rankings. That is still there. If the World Bank for now, they suspended it, but it will. I mean, we don't need the World Bank to tell us that our business environment needs improving. I mean, just take a look around, So that's still an issue that needs to be addressed. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, thanks. And then Precious from Ogba says, money investors will not give us in FDI. They are giving us in form of debt. Isn't that amazing?
So if you look at capital importation for Nigeria in the second quarter of this year, we brought in just $863 million in total, right? That money, that level is so low. I think the last time we saw it was that low was 2016, around the period of the last recession. So for the giant of Africa to be bringing in $863 million, it's sad. And again, it ties back to your prior question about the business environment. Would you, as an investor, bring in boatloads of money into this country when, the environment is what it is? Another thing that worries me is the upcoming elections. As from February of next year, Nigeria, in fact, we're probably already in election season. I don't know about reforms. I don't know about things getting improved, because I think everything will just probably be on hold until the elections are sorted out. But yeah, that is a good observation. We need more FDI, we need more foreign direct investment coming into the country.
Brilliant.
Quickly, there's a report from the Bureau of Statistics and the United Nations Development Program. Maybe we'll get more into this tomorrow, Sha, but they about 20% of businesses closed shop, or is it 20% of employed Nigerians lost their jobs due to the pandemic? This is in addition to another report saying that 7 million people fell into poverty due to the pandemic. So we're still seeing the effects, and also telling you that, look, the central bank has doled out 400 billion naira in targeted credit facilities, conditional cash transfers. All those didn't seem to be enough because people were still impacted. In the United States, there's their own bureau, the Census Bureau in America, said that poverty actually went down slightly due to the amount of money that America just pumped into the economy trying to support businesses and so on. So in times like this, you need money in order to support people when things get rough.
Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Rotus. We're out of time now. And
all right.
Part of the conversation. Thanks for staying tuned here on Smooth 98.1. We continue the show tomorrow in time at 6:30 a.m. If you have questions before then, you can send to us and Rotus will respond to those questions or have conversations around them, when it comes in tomorrow. By 7:30, join us for today's analysis of the national news headline stories. This is during Freshly Press 91 at 7:30. You can also search our WhatsApp status or our Instagram platform to check out the headlines before we get into analysis at 7:30. This is Smooth 98.1. I'm Mairo-Ese. Good morning.
Business Express, brought to you by EnterSwitch. Transaction solutions you can depend on.
Thank you everyone for listening and being a part of the conversation.